church, and others. Follow, share, subscribe on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Let's Chit Chat UK. Let's Chit Chat UK live stream. Hey, I'm Pastor Cecile Abba, a counsellor by profession from Let's Chit Chat UK. This is the right space to explore real-life issues affecting real people. We provide professional counseling to individuals, couples, organization, schools, church, and others. Follow, share, subscribe on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Let's Chit Chat UK.
Hi, we are back again. Good evening, good morning, and good night to you all.
Wherever you are.
Wherever you are, it's nice to have you on board. It's lovely to know that you're following us. Please share, subscribe, follow, and tune in with us consistently. This is Pastor Cecile, and this is my co.
Richard Stevens reporting.
Richard Stevens reporting to duty. We are back. Our topic today is really a reflective topic. Is really very important because it kind of like looks at our lives as a whole and people who are surrounding us. So our topic today is, who are our friends?
Wow.
Who do we consider friends? And what are expectations of our friends? So who are really our friends? And Richard, you have the platform.
Are you my friend? And I think so, but are you my friend?
I have to be put to the test to know if I'm your friend or not. But for now, I do think I'm your friend, but I do have to be put to the test. It's not just taken and given. You have to put me to the test to actually know if I'm truly your friend. Richard?
Well, I must say, after all these years, absent friends, out of sight, not out of mind. Sometimes friends are not seen for ages, months, weeks, years. But when you reconnect, when you make contact again, it's almost as if you've never left each other. You're just continuing the journey, continuing the story. That, I would suggest, is a mark of a good friend. But this is going to be quite a sensitive topic, I feel. I remember growing up, and my mother, who is residing in Jamaica at the moment, and a fountain of advice, good advice and good wisdom. She was always very careful when it comes to friends. I could count the friends that I have just over one hand. I could use one hand and maybe the second hand. My mum was very careful with who she kept close to her, who she counted as friends. And I think I followed likewise. But it's a funny thing. How many friends do you have? And what's the definition of a friend as opposed to an acquaintance?
To me, how many friends do I have? Wow, that's a very tricky and a hard question. But to me, personally, a definition of friend is someone who can be there for you through the good and the bad and the ugly times. Good, bad time and ugly time. They will never think that you have overburdened them with your issues and your situation. They will never think that your joy is something that for them to feel jealous about or envious about. They will never feel like your issues are a joy for them to kind of like have one good thing over you. So people like that are really truly considered as a friend. People who can wake up at midnight if I call them and stay awake with me. wake up and be there in the middle of the day if I do need them, if it's at all possible for them to be there. People will not ask too much of me, like ask too much. Some friend will just be too needed and ask too much of you. People who will know my weaknesses and my strength and just leave me as I am. And again, I will know
value you as who you are,
and be with them as who they are. People who will necessarily not judge me for my mistakes, but will advise me for my mistake, but not judge me. Those kind of people are considered as friends. People who can possibly defend me in my absence, not easily accept what's been said about me and take it as a final opinion and play around it. So those are the people that I would consider as friends. But those qualities these days are a bit difficult and tricky to find in people. So I know that a lot of people, the reason why this topic came on, because there are issues that have really came up this week about friends and people you keep closer to you, people that you waste time or you spend time talking to, hearing or listening or even mingling with. Are they really the right people for you in case of adversity, in case of issues? And again, the shocking situation that came about this topic that we're discussing tonight is someone who I know from a distance, not particularly a friend, but spoken to from time to time over the year in a work situation, passed on, and she had one son who is not around at the moment, traveled back home in Jamaica, Caribbean, because of the lockdown, hasn't been able to come down. Partner left her, I don't know at which stage, when she was sick or not, but from the time of period of November and just passed on last week, Friday, and the son being stuck back home, trying to call many friends and family members and acquaintances and whatever to go and identify the mom's body at the hospital. And every single one of them gave excuses, either they have children or because of COVID or because of work or because of one issue or the other, couldn't actually go to identify this woman at the hospital. And it took another acquaintance who work related that happened to just call her and said, oh, I text her in November, didn't hear from her, text her in December, didn't hear from her, let me just call her and then just check that she's okay. Happens to call, and it's a son who picks on the phone and say, oh, I want to speak to your mom. He said, oh, I'm sorry, my mom has passed on just Friday. And so, what happened? I text your mom in November, she didn't reply. I thought she was busy. I texted her in December, she didn't reply. I thought she was busy. And I said, let me just call her. Not that they're specifically good friend, it's just work-related talking from time to time. He said, no, unfortunately, my mom has been sick from November, December, and passed on. But unfortunately, I'm stuck here. Can you do me a favor and go and identify my mom's body at the hospital? Because I've called family, I've called friends, I've called anyone that I could call to do that for me. Everyone seems to be giving the answer as being busy. So I'm sure, and I know this woman was a very talkative woman. It wasn't anything that I can judge from my knowing of her. Although we were not close at all, we will only meet in work-related issues and talk after that.
Yes.
But I wouldn't say she was that cruel as a person to say that family members, friend, no one could even spare a minute of time.
The line was busy.
Yeah,
engaged.
So it gets you to realize and to start thinking about yourself and thinking about people you spend time with, people you talk to. Like you have said a comment earlier on, I'd like you to bring that comment on yourself. The kind of friends that people look for. Yeah, go ahead, Richard.
Well, I can see that it's affected you quite deeply, emotionally. And friends, a good friend sometimes is as good or better than the proverbial brother. I mean, having a good friend, someone who is not going to be gossiping behind your back. And even if, as you said, if you're not in their presence, they can stand up for you. They could say one or two things negatively, objectively about you, but
still,
it is not. It's not to degrade.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it could be having a laugh. They could be being honest, but whatever they say behind your back, away from you, they can just as well say it to your face.
Yeah.
And they would say it to your face. And I can think of those handful of friends.
Yeah.
Gameli. There's a man called Gameli. Big man called Nads. Old school friends. Way back secondary school days. Yet secondary school days, 11, 12 years old, and still friends today. That's part of the handful of friends that I have. And it's hard to find a good friend. But here's the thing. Does a friend have to be a yes man or a yes woman? Do they have to be similar to you in values, beliefs, attitudes, or can they be in contrast? You might be a churchgoer, regular churchgoer. Your friend may be someone who likes to socialize, go to the cinema, go to parties, maybe pull on a lot of something, and yet they know you, they value you, they respect you, but you're different, and yet with similarities. What's your take on that?
To truly be honest with you, friends are people who, like you said, I would not want to have a friend who will consistently say yes, madam, or yes, ma, or yes, or all the time. And I wouldn't also.
And by the way, why? I don't want to. I'm gonna be chasing you up. Why?
Because if they start saying yes to me all the time, I might be doing something wrong. The fact that they're saying yes to me all the time, I might not know if what I'm doing is wrong and I need to correct myself or I need to amend myself. The yes will not allow me to challenge myself to the best of me. So the yes might just put me in a very comfortable life, comfortable environment, very flexible, and not be able to push myself. Grow. So on that line, I wouldn't want a friend who will always say yes to me. I will want a friend who will be able to question me when they feel like, oh, what you're doing is not quite right. Bring it out, question me, challenge me, let me explain myself, let us have a debate about it. If I still can demonstrate that my opinion is strong or whatever truth to what I'm thinking, then yes, at least that way, when they're challenging you, they allow you to reflect on what you're doing or what you're about to do or what you're embarking on. So they're helping you to be a bit more careful, to be a bit more constructive for that no. That no, any no means that you have to think twice about what you're doing and be reasonable or know that you're heading towards the right direction. So on that line, I would not want a friend who will always say no. At the same at the same time, I will not want a friend who will always say no, 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 because I will feel like, why they keep saying no, no, no? Is there some jealousy? Is there some envy? Is it because they don't want me to move out of my comfort zone? Does that make sense? So
absolutely.
If they start saying no to everything I do, meaning that obviously they don't want my good, why are you opposing to everything I'm trying to do? Is there something wrong with that? So I will also see as a danger. So you need to be able to be a balanced friend. Say no when you know that this needs to be challenged. Encourage and say yes when you know that this is a good idea. Support me on that idea. That's what a friend is there for, to support you on what is possibly right.
I remember, I've got to say I agree entirely with what you're saying there. I remember being at college and lending my work, my folder, to someone who you laugh, someone who I felt was my friend, a pretty good friend at that. Only to find when I asked for my folder back that he refused to return the folder. Yes, I asked for it back again, still refused to hand it over. My mum, God bless her, had to get involved. Maybe a little bit of clean the blood, but she had to get involved. And
wow.
The long and short of it was, this person who I thought was my bosom buddy, my friend, someone who would laugh with me, joke with me, spend time with me, proved when push came to shove, they weren't my friend. And I tell you something, sometimes a friend needs to be to be able to apologize, and the apology, it was never forthcoming. And from that, God bless your mom. Go ahead. What you were saying, sister?
I'm not stopping you. I just we were meant to have one of our co-hosts today. My son in America, Pastor Enoch, but he wasn't able to join on time. But he's listening to us. He just put a comment about constructive friends. So hopefully next week we will have him on the show. Next week, by God's grace, we'll have him on the show next week. He just put a comment there about constructive friends. Yes,
it's a positive word. I like that term.
Very positive. So yeah, so you can see that friends need to be challenged. Like I told you earlier on, that to know a good friend is someone that has to be challenged in the time of issues or situation. Like you just explained about your friend who took your folder, but unfortunately couldn't bring it back. It took your moms to intervene to actually you to realize that this person wasn't actually a good friend. So if you have depended on that person for a greater adversity in your life, what would have happened? What would have happened to you? So again, you asked me about friends. Do I need to, or do I need to have friends that I will just go to church with, and friends that can perhaps smoke or go out and party? To start with, follow the word of God that says iron sharpening iron. What I mean by that is very good and necessary to have friends that go to the land that you're going, so they can iron you, strengthen you on that line. If you have a friend that is going to a different path, it's very difficult. You might end up not being balanced and heading both ways, not knowing which direction to go. When I call a friend, I said, I'm not saying you will not talk to people who are doing different things. You will talk to people who are doing different things because, hey, you're all human beings. So, but when I call friends, people who are closer to you, they can know any issue in your life, any situation in your life. So it's quite important to actually have a circle of friends, of people that you are actually moving the same direction, not thinking alike, like, but actually thinking about progressing in life, positivity in life, good manner in life, respect and is it my life or yours? I don't think it's mine. Respect in life, because if you have friends that
it must be 8 o'clock. It's my phone. 7:30.
If you have friends that don't have the same value as you, then it's very difficult, because you don't have the same value. They might feel like respecting elders is not good, but while your value states that you have to respect elders. So if you have such a friend, it's very, very difficult, because the word says, show me your friends and I'll show you who you are. Tell me. So sometimes you have to, either you like it or not, trying to assess your friend, trying to look at who you call as friend, who you bring closer to you as friends.
Well, I agree with you
doesn't mean
there.
that you completely ignore everyone else. Of course, you talk to as many people as you can, but really friends is someone who might be able to stand in public and say, I know you. You know, some people, when you come to an issue, you will see maybe something happened to you, Richard. let's just take an example. And then you see people going on social media, going to newspaper and know him. He's like that. He's like that. Those are not friends, because the friends that really are your friend is not because you have an issue that they will go and stand on social media, start talking about you. So those are the kind of friend that we said, are you both moving to the same direction? Because if you're both not moving to the same direction, you will find them somewhere talking about you as if they know you while they don't even know anything about you.
Well, I'm not gonna go in the social media direction,
Just
but I'm gonna rewind, and I'm going to pull you up, and I'm going to just double check and give you the chance to backtrack if necessary. Because the Bible, I don't know if the Bible actually says this, but there is the saying, as you said, iron sharpeneth iron.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes that iron could be sharpened to in the back, in the shoulder blade. Sometimes that church brother, that church sister that is not going out to the raves, the occasional disco, smoking the odd joint, you might think that that brother and sister has your back, knows you, going on the same pathway. But you'd be surprised. Have you heard about gossip? Have you heard about bad blood, backbiting? Listen, my friend Gameli, he's not a church goer. My friend Nads, he's not a church goer. But I'll tell you something, I think they'd have my back. I'll tell you something, they value me and respect me. I tell you something, I value and respect them to the hilt. They've got values, they've got dignity, decency, their own opinions, their own life choices and lifestyles. But there's a connection, similarities. Let's try the word respect. Respect, value, similar sense of humor, giving quality time, not dealing and peddling in jealousy and smiling and skinning your teeth.
Well,
only to find something else is going on. So I would disagree with you.
Okay.
In that I have to have someone who is following the same choice, life choice. And that's not to say that I'm going to be pulled in two different directions necessarily. If I know who I am, if I'm a critical thinker, I will have that determination and strength and understanding, I believe, to know the direction I'm going in. And they're not standing in my pathway. Hopefully they're not standing, and hopefully I'm not standing in their pathway. But I think that having a variety of friends is important, but they're very hard to come by. Friends are very, very hard to come by. I mean, let me put it to you. You've got your church and congregation you attend. Are they all your friends?
Okay, you just put something add on earlier on. I wanted to comment on that, but I have to wait for you to finish. You said about possibly having a friend who is a church goer and batting you,
possibly
fake smiling and all that.
Possibly.
I'm not bringing church here, but my prophet in preaching for the past 3 weeks or so about the church goer and the follower of Christ. They are two different people. Every church goer doesn't mean that they know Christ. Every church goer doesn't mean that they follow the rules of Jesus Christ. So
you can judge not.
Judge not, but you can
also be judged. I don't want to judge. Sister, I don't want to go there. Sister,
yes.
Sister, I want to stop you here.
You said you said the church goer. Let me explain myself. You said church goer, they are batting, they are talking. So I'm going to explain. Let me explain and clarify that.
I'm way ahead of you.
You brought it on. Church
I'm way ahead of you.
Someone who goes to church doesn't necessarily mean that they know the word of God. doesn't necessarily mean that they follow in Christ. They might go to church as an assembly of them going and meeting people, but it doesn't mean that everyone who goes to church abide by the rule of the Bible. As simple as that. So if you said, if you said you rather, or you map up, or you have your friend who is not a church goer but is very loyal, is very committed, is very nice, is very respectful. It doesn't mean that you will only find good friends because you're going to church with that person. Someone might be going to church, but they might not have the character of what Jesus Christ says a church goer or a Christian must have. So you are judging people, or you are looking at friends, not necessarily because they go to the same church as you, not necessarily because they attend church, but because of the character that you see in them. Do they have the character? If they're going to church, do they have the character of Jesus Christ in them? Do they have the fruits of Jesus Christ in them? Can they actually stand as a friend? Can you? Someone needs to demonstrate to you that they are friends, not just a church goer. The way they behave, not just behave around you. Have they been tested around you? Have you tested them? Have you put them to practice to know that this person actually can be a friend? Because going to church doesn't mean that you can be a good person or you are a good person. Just as maybe driving a car doesn't mean that you're a good driver.
So we agree.
Pardon?
We agree.
Yes, we do agree that you can find good friends in every walk of life.
Oh,
but at the same time, are they going to the same direction as you? Because if I have a friend, I don't necessarily smoke, like you said. So if I have a friend who constantly or consistently next to me will be kind of like popping, meaning that I will be inhaling that in me, which is not my nature. So therefore, that is a big inconvenience for me. So I would necessarily not be around such a person, because
they may not be around you doing that. They don't have to be around you. They respect you enough to not be around you doing that.
Well,
they find their space because they respect you as a friend. I'm just
saying, we're not necessarily going to go to that level. We are looking at people who you spend time with as friends. Can they stand with you in the difficult trial, in the time of test, in the time of difficulty? Can they stand with you day in, day out, year in, year out? Will they just pretend to be with you when things are good? And when things are bad, you don't see them anymore. You don't see their back anymore. Never mind about their front. You you don't smell them anymore. You don't smell them anymore. Because sometimes, if you look at our phones are full of numbers. You can have your phone with 20, 30, 50, whatever many numbers. You're calling all these people all the time. You're spending time calling them. So you are spreading your time around so many people. And there's so many people that you're spreading your time with. Maybe with those 20 people, there are only good 2 of them who are your good friends. So you could have spend that time very better with those 2 good friends around. But you're spreading your time with everyone and anyone, only to realize that when you need somebody, you really, really much stand alone. And you are supporting all these people when they have issues. But when you have your own issue, you don't see them anymore. You don't hear from them anymore. You don't smell them anymore. They, as a matter of fact, they become invisible.
You're very keen on this smelling, aren't you?
Oh, yes, because
have you got perfume on this evening?
Oh, yes, always, as usual. So
my good friend, listen, you've just reminded me of something. I think we're singing from similar hymn sheets, but you just reminded me of something. Who are our friends? Can we have good friends of the opposite?
Good friend of the same?
Opposite sex.
Oh yes, of course, I do agree with that. Just like my son just commented on what you're saying, that he just commented and saying that you're making a good point, because you can have good friends as Muslim, you can have good friends in all sorts of life. It doesn't necessarily have to be the people who are going to the same church as you or the same club as you, which he's approving very much of your comment at the moment. But yes, I will come back to your question. Yes, you can have friends of opposite sex. That's very, very true, and it's a reality. A friend is not about being the same sex or not, coming from the same country or not, speaking the same language or not, being from the same mother or father or not, being from the same community or not. A friend is someone whom you can understand you can understand them, you can depend and rely on them, you can truly cry, they can see you in your weakest time.
Genuine.
And strong time. And they will
I
not
use the word genuine.
Yeah, very, very genuine. They will not judge you. They can see you running without shoe on your feet. They can see you when you haven't got enough clothes to wear. They can see you when you don't have food to eat. They can see you when you don't have money to take bus or transport. They will not look at you any lesser to when you had all these things. You will just be the same as if you have them. So they can see you when you are at your most lowest point of your life, and they will not treat you any differently to how you can be at your most stronger point of your life. It's people like that that I see as friends. There are many friends that I have tested.
Oh, you're gonna make me cry. You're gonna make me cry.
Because there are many friends that I have tested. I have tested many people to really know that they are my friend. And
you're big on this testing, aren't you?
Oh, yes, I do.
Did you study science?
I do love to assess evidence. As you know, you're an assessor. I'm also an assessor. So assessors always assess that we are about all evidence based.
That's right.
You understand what I say? You understand? So we are all about evidence-based. So there are many people whom I have personally and specifically assessed and tested to see if this person can really be my friend. I will not tell you anything, but at one point I will behave as if I'm in need. I behave as if or very comfortable. So I will try to see how they will treat me then, how they will take me then, will they still accept me then, will they still be receptive for me then, will they still be supportive of me as when I'm at my most comfortable or confident time. So I go to the level where I can do that for 1 year, 2 years. Me, I don't give up when I say I'm going to do something. I do that 1 year, 2 years to really see the kind of person that you are. And by the time I finish, I will definitely know the kind of person that you are. I will not come and tell you that I've done your assessment and this is what I have seen of you. I will still carry on as if nothing is happening. We are all level, but in my heart, I know that this person definitely, if I'm in trouble, really, really in trouble, if I'm really, really in need, if I'm really, really lack, I will never tell you. Yeah. You what say you, Richard?
You've got me stumped. I'm shocked.
Don't be.
I know that you're a professional assessor, but I didn't know this carried over and spilled over into your private life. I don't like to take my work home if I can help it.
Well, I assessor.
My goodness me. You like playing dead. It's like you're talking about you like to play dead and
my
see if
son
anyone's going to come and poke you.
As an assessor, you live on evidence-based. Evidence-based. Even my son is saying, "Mommy, that's temptation." The word of God says, the word of God says on that land that you need to test every spirit. You need to test every spirit, and you will know if they really can stand the test of time.
You're
me,
setting the cats among the pigeon this evening with this talk.
So to me, how do I really know that this person is true around me? How do I really know that the person that I'm talking too much is not going behind my back and talking other things behind my back? So I really need to know, because I do know that I don't have too many friends. It's very difficult for me to go out and look for friends. But if I have 1 or 2 or 3 friends, I really, really want to know that they are true friends, because I haven't really got the ability. Some people have the ability to have a lot of friends and they can manage all those friends.
They have that capacity.
But as for me, I don't have that ability to really have a lot of friends. It's like I can talk to people, I communicate a lot with people, but to say that friends, I don't have that ability to. That is my weakness. Probably I don't have the ability to really develop have a lot of people that I call as friends. So if I have 1, 2, 3 friends, I really want to know that they're truly friends. If not, why will I waste my small time with them? Why will I have to think in my mind that if I come short, I can cry out to them? I may as well be by myself, because it's better to be by yourself than to be in very bad company. So that's me.
Goodness.
What say you?
Well, what say me? What would you say to those who are very sociable, and over the years have developed a large network of friends? Would you say no? I think you've said that you were referring to yourself and how you find it difficult to develop close friendships, but some people have wide circle of friends and acquaintances. Maybe we need to make that distinction as well. Yeah. But I'm loath to tell people don't have too many friends, or to test, as your son said, put temptation and put some barriers and obstacles in the way to see how they cope. Because I mean, sometimes I've got friends, I may not excuse me, I've got friends who may not speak to me for weeks.
Yeah, obviously, yes.
And I likewise, I may not speak to them for weeks, with them for weeks, and then they'll cross my mind. I send a text, I pick up the phone, and as I said, the light goes on. It's like flicking the light switch, on, off. Yeah. But it's not on, off like easy come, easy go. Because the relationship, the friendship has been simmering. It's stewed. It's been marinated over the years. Maybe that's the thing. Sometimes friends, true friends, they take time. It takes time. The process takes time. And the assessment is not necessarily deliberate. The assessment comes through life.
Yeah.
It's a lifelong experience. Yeah. And you see who in those times, as you said, of trouble, those times of laughter, when you reflect and look back, when were you laughing the most? When did you shed a tear the most? What occasion, on what occasion? And I can think of some of my closest friends. My friend in America, Adamski, Ads, best man at my wedding.
We have
went clear across. Oh, are we winding down?
We're winding now. I just want to pick on what you said earlier on, and my son just commented that love.
He's very busy. Has he got any homework? It's the weekend.
Love many, and trust few. Love many and trust few. I will just say on what you said earlier on that as we are winding up, I would not necessarily discourage anyone to have a lot of people to talk to. It's good to have a lot of people to talk to. Some people have the ability to have a big network of people that they're talking to. It doesn't necessarily that they're friends with all of them, because really when you really call someone a friend, is someone who should be able to know you a lot more better than anyone else. Many people have a big network of people that they're talking to. I do admire them, and sometimes I think, I hope I can be like that, that I have a big network of people that I talk to. They have the ability to process too many people at any time. But you also made a very solid point that a friend is not necessarily because you will talk to someone every day or every week, then you qualify them as friend. The friend is not a quantity of how many communication you have in a week or month or year. My friend, those are called good friend, or those they call me good friend. Sometimes we go a month without talking. Sometimes we can go 2 months without talking, but every single time, like you said earlier on, every single time we speak is very valuable. It's very treasured. It's about life. It's about family. It's about issues that we are facing. It's about situation. You can get a solid advice from them. You can get a peace of mind from them. So it's not about the quantity. As a matter of fact, you can talk to someone every single day, but it doesn't mean that they're your friend, because you end up talking rubbish, anything and everything. You can talk about politics, you can talk about social issues, you can talk about anything, but it doesn't mean that you're a friend. So it's not the quantity of communicating with someone that qualify them as friend. It's the quality of communication and the quality of issues that you're discussing, and how you can pour yourself out and they can pour themselves out in terms of issue. So what say you, Richard, if you like to conclude as we're about to close? Your word?
I would conclude by saying, be careful when it comes to the definition of friends and who you count as true friends. If you say so and so is my good friend, is my friend, that person, you need to know, is day follows night. They've got your back and they won't stab you in your back. They respect you, they value you, you can laugh together, you can cry together, you can share thoughts that you may not even share with your spouse, potentially. It's a safe space to be yourself and vice versa, and you can be critical, you can praise, and you wish each other the very best of luck and best of fortune and blessings. I know there is one friend of mine, I can't forget him, who I'm in regular contact with him, and vice versa. But it's not a waste of time. It's developing a friendship that is forged on honesty, value, and positivity. Nate Bond, Sketch Cat. Listen, I wish you all a lovely evening. A special commendation to your son. Thank you for listening.
Yes,
is that Aaron?
He just no. That's my son in America. I have many sons. That's my son in America. Yeah. So he just commented on
howdy.
Yeah.
Howdy, y'all.
He just commented and thank you for your comment to say that Sam revealed true friends, like you said. He just commented on that. So yes, to round up, I'm just saying yes, thank you, Richard. That has really been insightful and very revealing. Like you said, it's good to have friends who will not possibly drop you off at your lowest time and pick you up at your strongest time. Drop you off because you're not doing good, to seek for people who are doing good. And remember you once you start doing good or start getting better. It's good to have friends that will be there with you and for you every single step of the way. They can easily know how you're feeling and things that break you down and things that lift you up. They can easily stand with you at your most lowest time. You can confide in them and they will not use it or take it to the advantage to criticize you or look down on you because of what they know or what you have revealed to them, and even treat you any lesser because of what you have told them or what you have revealed to them, because some people will kind of like treat you lower because of what you have told them when you thought they were your friends. So as you're out there, our advice tonight is watch ads, talk to people, invite people in your space, but invite the right friends in your space. You might just realize that at the last minute you spend time with the wrong people and you trusted the wrong people. So not necessarily, we're not discouraging you to have friends or to seek for friends or to broaden your network, but we are just telling you that in that network, as you make it bigger, also make it count. As you make it bigger, remember to also know who is really there for you and who can really be there for you. Because the sources of every bitterness, every heartbreaking comes from when you have helped a friend, supposedly to be a friend, and they let you down when you need them, or they disappeared when you need them. Then that's when you start treating everyone bad, because you think that everyone is just as bad as that person who let you down. So again, like Richard said, we are so glad to have you following us. Share, subscribe, hopefully tune in, and we see you again next week, Saturday.
And be careful who you lend any folders to.
And be very careful who you lend your folders to before your mother goes in and start fighting for your battle. So
fire for Waganes.
Until then, thank you. Stay tuned. Stay safe. My son,
stay safe.
My son, Pastor Eno, hopefully you'll join us next week. It was very lovely, and we are very glad to have you on board tonight. Thank you. Stay safe and stay tuned. And this is Let's Chit Chat with Richards.
Let's Chit Chat UK live stream. Hey, I'm Pastor Cecile Abba, a counselor by profession from